Dr. John Kumah, are you in a position to respond to this quickly before?
Oh, yes. It doesn't include T-bills. The value is 30 billion for pension funds. So he needs to check the source again.
All right. So government is happy at this moment, even though you are running against time. Now Parliament wants you to come over. How does it look going forward?
Yes, thank you very much, and good morning to listeners and panelists. I listened to the presentation by Bright Simmons, and I'm happy that Professor Bobkin corrected the figure. I think that is the basis for the analysis he did, which I disagree. In fact, the 5th December figure he gave of 137 billion was correct, but because of the delays, by the time we got to 7th February, it has reduced to 130 billion because some settlements have been done. And then the eligible bondholders, that is what we talked about, the 97.7 billion. And the difference between that is the 30 billion for the pension funds, not 9 billion, it's 30 billion. And then, so you're supposed to get 100 billion. And then we did the exchange rate financing policy, the swap. That is what you are talking about, those who got the T-bills. These are short-term exchange rate financing policy of the Bank of Ghana that could not have been converted into 5-year bonds. So that amount is 2 billion, not 40 billion as presented by Bright Simmons. So those are the figures that I think he should look at in his analysis. So on the whole, I agree that maybe a different approach could have been adopted, but I think that government is grateful to all domestic bondholders for their contribution and acceptance to be part of the program, to the Bankers Association, the labor unions, individual bondholders, and everybody who has played a very vital role in this process. We are very grateful. We must also remember that we had a target going forward. I mean, Bright raised issues about other loans and bonds and commitment that has to be paid beyond the Treasury bonds. We must know that government set a target after the debt sustainability analysis. And we targeted that by 2028, we should bring the debt levels to 55%. And so that has been the basis, the picture for where all this engagement has been running from. And so in all the analysis, we believe that if we are able to deal specifically with this group of debts, the bonds, we'll be able to hit the target as set with all parties involved at the 55% by 2028 and that kind of thing. So we believe that we are on course. Of course, we should be open to market sentiments, advice from Professor Bobkin. And so all these things that we are doing, we are taking some of these concerns on board so that at the end of the day, the market is able to see the 30 billion pension funds that we were taking out. Government agreed with the pension and labor unions to take that out for a different treatment. So it's not going to be part of the domestic debt exchange. But I know engagement is still ongoing to see how best we can make it beneficial to all parties involved and even bring greater benefits.
The individual bondholders have not been excited that government has defaulted on maturing bonds, and actually Fitch cites that as one of the reasons for its ratings that it has brought out recently. Hello, John. John's line is frozen. I hope that we're able to establish contact with him again back quickly. But the government said that it had made approximately 85% of holders of eligible. Yes. Yes, John?
Okay, so that issue is a problem of communication. Something in the memorandum that we put out, we stated in it that once the DDE was in the process, we could not be settling maturities until we are fully completed. So we want to fully assure all bondholders who have due maturities that they are going to be settled ASAP. By the grace of God, we have come to the end of the process. And once settlement is done, all the due maturities will be paid in the shortest possible time. So it's been already communicated, except that I think it has not been clear to bondholders.
Right.
So they are going to receive
there's been mounting pressure to do more than the focus on, debt restructuring, the manner in which you are doing it, including, cutbacks and so on. Professor Bokwing mentioned that a while ago. There's very little heard about that from the government.
It is true. One concern that we've heard a lot about fiscal adjustment, further expenditure cuts, and government has already announced about 36 measures in the 2023 budget on expenditure measures that will seek to bring down expenditures going forward. But I think beyond that, people want to see much more commitment on the part of government. Going forward, those are cabinet policy directions that will be announced very soon as part of our program. So we also want to assure that government has their eyes on it. And
how was the conversion to, as it were, Treasury Bills? How was it done? So that some people feel disadvantaged. Because when I went to my bank, if I knew about this and it was available to me, I would have opted for that.
No, it wasn't available to you.
Why?
These are not bonds that were raised for budget support. These are special Bank of Ghana exchange rate financing policy. That is short term. So it's a special instrument. And it's only those who are on that are qualified to be on this, because the minimum we are getting on the new bonds is 5 years. So if somebody has a short-term arrangement with you within 1 year for you to return his facility, you cannot take it into 5-year bonds. That is why the conversion was done to T-bills. So it wasn't.
Who are those who are on such a special, arrangement for bonds you talk about?
Yeah, our central bank has arrangement with other central banks and to sometimes exchange, and of course other partners to sometimes take forex in the short term for business and also to repay within a certain period. So those arrangements are always there within the Bank of Ghana and other central banks.
Okay. Yes.